It's very unfortunate that we have so many people in the city that are walking around doing cowardly acts of violence.
Right now at 10, Beloit police investigate another homicide and what we're learning about a shooting in the city earlier tonight. And blizzard conditions hit the Northeast. Austin has much more on how it could impact us right here in Wisconsin. Plus, will he or won't he? That's the question swirling around tonight about Tom Brady and the chance he hangs up his cleats for good. That's all coming up at 10. But we start tonight with breaking news. At least one person is in the hospital after a shooting outside Beloit Memorial High School. This happened shortly before 9 o'clock tonight in the minutes following Memorial's boys basketball game against La Follette. Beloit police say the school district of Beloit is cooperating with this investigation. A Madison school district spokesperson tells us everyone on the La Follette team got back safely on the bus and is headed home. And nobody from the district was impacted by this incident. We'll have a live report from Beloit later in the show. And we also have breaking news out of Beloit this morning. For the second time in 4 days, police in the city are investigating a woman's death. On Wednesday, a 31-year-old woman was shot on the city's west side on Madison Road. And this morning, about 72 hours later and just 3 miles away, police say a woman was stabbed to death. Police say today's investigation started at about 7:20 a.m. Her body was found on Howes Drive near Clary Street. Officers have not said if anyone is in custody, but say the woman had been stabbed. She's also not been identified yet. We heard again from Beloit's police chief today, and he says enough is enough. 2 homicides in 2020, 4 in 2021, and in 2022, 2 homicides before the end of January. Tahalil Mohodin spoke with Beloit police and a community organizer in the city, and they all agree on something: that change has to come.
I think insane is probably an understatement at this point.
News of a second homicide in less than a week has community leaders at a loss.
It seems like as soon as one happens and you think, okay, we're going to try and get this figured out, let's do an event, let's try and take a breath. You can't even sit back and take in, the last situation, the last issue without something else happening now.
Earlier this month, Lexi Payton's group, which aims to open lines of communication between communities of color and police, hosted an event addressing violence in the city. So for her, today's homicide investigation came as a shock.
That it's not just gun violence. Now we have stabbings.
Beloit Police Chief Andre Sales says his team of detectives is working tirelessly to address crime in the city, but also says they need help.
As a chief, I'm overly frustrated. I know the men and women of the Beloit Police Department are frustrated. I know our residents here in the city of Beloit are frustrated.
Asking the Beloit community to come together to put an end to the violence.
We're going to need to know who this person was with, who they had close ties with.
It's a call for help. Payton is ready to answer, looking for others to join her cause.
Trying to change the dynamic. A lot of times we see that there is no communication.
For his part, Chief Sales vowing to put every effort into solving not just the homicide of the woman found on Clary Street, but all homicide investigations that remain open.
We're going to take every lead. We're going to dig into it and make sure we're doing the right things on our end.
In Beloit, Tahlil Muhiddin, News 3 Now.
Payton says since their community event earlier this month, her group has been in contact with Beloit police. She also says they were able to talk with the chief today about today's investigation and says he's open to working with them moving forward. Developing tonight, one person is in the hospital and one is in custody after a hit and run on Madison's east side. MPD says the crash happened on Milwaukee Street at about 9 o'clock this morning. One person was extracted from their car and taken to the hospital where they are expected to be okay. Officers say a suspect in the crash ran off and armed themselves inside a home. They later turned themselves in after negotiations with police. One person is dead after a crash in southeast Dane County. This happened early this morning on County Highway A in the town of Dunkirk. The sheriff's office says the SUV crashed into a tree. A 32-year-old man was killed in this crash. His identity has not been released yet. Next at 10, a powerful snowstorm with wind gusts near hurricane force is pounding the Northeast today. From the mid-Atlantic states up to Maine, the snow, high winds, and storm surge brought towns and cities to a virtual standstill. Roads were so bad today in Rhode Island that state police put up signs telling drivers that some highways would be closed for more than 12 hours. State leaders say they were trying to avoid any major backups. And of course, all of this snow meant that there was plenty of opportunities to spend some fun time outside. In New York's Central Park, kids of all ages enjoyed the weather and went sledding down some local hills. And we're not just seeing any major snowfall in Wisconsin right now. Here's a live look at the Capitol. But again, there are some chances for some impactful snow this week. Meteorologist Austin Kopnitsky joins us outside with their certified most accurate forecast.
And that's exactly right. We are watching out for that chance for a little bit of some snowfall right around midweek. But these next few days, we're really tracking a pretty decent warm-up. Now, let's start by actually talking about out east, because I have family out in Maryland. Central Maryland saw about an inch or so where my family was. I have a buddy in Connecticut. He saw about 5 to 8 inches, depending on where you are in his city. And then other areas to the east and northeast even saw upwards of 20 to 30 inches of snow in some areas. So quite a bit of some snow really did fall here with this nor'easter, but none of that actually fell here. We are staying dry. There's just a slight chance to see a flurry for tonight, but for the most part, we're just going to see those mostly cloudy skies overhead. Temperatures down to 12 degrees. Now we are going to see these temperatures pretty much balancing out where they are now and slowly increasing later on in the overnight hours. Wind speeds aren't too bad either. Lots of calm conditions, so our wind chills are not that bad. Later on tonight, we have that low of 12 degrees. That's exactly where it is right now, slowly warming up later on tonight thanks to the mostly cloudy skies and a very light southerly breeze. But we're going to see some changes in the forecast over the next few days. I'll have all the details you won't want to miss, and that's coming up.
All right, thanks so much, Austin. Okay, so for the past 6 months, we've talked a lot about an MVP quarterback right here in Wisconsin who wears number 12. Tonight, we're talking about a different guy who wears number 12, though. And you've probably heard of him. Sports anchor Jordan Reed has more on what Tom Brady's uncertain future looks like.
Yeah, Brad, the sports world was shook this afternoon when several reports came out that Tom Brady is retiring from the NFL. Now, say what you want, but many people consider Brady to be the greatest quarterback in NFL history. The 44-year-old has played 22 seasons, including 20 for the Patriots, and won a record 7 Super Bowls. His current team, the Buccaneers, lost last week to the Rams on a last-second field goal despite trailing 27-3. But not so fast. About an hour after the original report, Brady's agent texted ESPN's Adam Schefter. He said, without getting into the accuracy or inaccuracy of what's being reported, Tom will be the only person to express his plans with complete accuracy. Brady also reportedly told the Bucs GM today he has not made a decision. So will Brady be back next season? Right now, we don't know. What we do know is that this year's Super Bowl matchup will be decided tomorrow when both conference championships get played. Without Brady or Aaron Rodgers, you can watch the AFC Championship right here on CBS with coverage starting at 2 o'clock.
All right, thanks so much, Jordan. Topping tonight's virus headlines, if you need a COVID test, the Alliant Energy Center site is now open on the weekends. Beginning this week, the site is open every day. Public Health was expecting to do this at some point in January after reopening their testing site earlier this month. PHMDC's website doesn't have any open appointments tomorrow, but has dozens of open slots beginning on Monday. Meanwhile, the 7-day average of new cases in Wisconsin is quickly dropping. Yesterday's data showed an average of 7,300 new cases each day over the past week. All 72 counties remain in that critically high level of COVID activity, and more than 20% of all tests are coming back positive. The CDC says the Omicron has officially peaked in the United States, but deaths and hospital numbers are still up. And now scientists say there's a new variant called BA2 Omicron, and it's being watched closely.
We're now seeing a variant that is going to be much more contagious than Omicron and will likely take over the space occupied by the original variant.
In some countries, BA2 is already spreading fast and leaving people who are unvaccinated at a much higher risk of death and serious illness. A downtown Madison theater will be requiring COVID booster shots in March. The Overture Center says all guests will have to show proof of the booster or a recent negative COVID test to get inside. Now, wearing a mask will also still be required. Officials say the policy will be reevaluated in mid-March. In other entertainment news tonight, another singer says she plans to remove her music from Spotify over COVID misinformation concerns. Joni Mitchell says that she stands in solidarity with Neil Young, who had his music removed from the site earlier this week. The singers are taking issue with the anti-vaccine comments made by Spotify podcaster Joe Rogan. And we're trying to learn more tonight about what happened yesterday in Pittsburgh. Crews were on the scene today, one day after a bridge collapsed outside the city. Several vehicles were on the bridge when it fell earlier yesterday morning. 10 people were hurt. In a briefing today, an NTSB official called the bridge's damage massive.
So this is a call to action because we have aging transportation infrastructure, bridges, tunnels, and that is something that can begin to be addressed immediately.
Now, this all happened just hours before President Biden was scheduled to talk in Pittsburgh about his $1 trillion infrastructure law. Biden visited the bridge last night, and the White House says 43,000 bridges across the country are in poor condition. Well, last November, our Naomi Coles looked into the infrastructure bill and its effects on bridges here in Wisconsin. The Century Avenue Bridge in Dane County is among the top 10 most traveled and structurally deficient bridges in the state. You can find more information in Naomi's story on our website, channel3000.com. Okay, back to our breaking news right now. Police in Rock County are investigating a reported shooting tonight outside of Beloit Memorial High School. That's where we find our Tahalil Mohodin right now. And Tahalil, what's the latest?
Well, Brad, we just actually learned that this is now a homicide investigation. The shooting itself happened about 2 hours ago, but this is still very much an active scene. I'm going to step out of the shot here. You'll see that Beloit police have much of the parking lot closed off. Now, this parking lot is actually outside of Beloit Memorial High School, where the area outside of where the shooting happened. Now, they say that one person who was shot was hospitalized earlier today. We now know that that person did not make it. The shooting was reported at about 8:55 p.m., minutes after a basketball ended, and that basketball game was versus La Follette High School. Now, we did reach out to the Madison school district, and a spokesperson said that the students from Madison were able to make it out okay. Now, we also reached out to the Beloit School District, and we haven't heard back just yet, but they were able to say, or Beloit police did say that they were fully cooperating with police. Now, this is an ongoing investigation. As I said, we did just now learn that it is a homicide, so we'll have more information for you as that comes available. But for now, reporting live in Beloit, Tahir Muhaddin, News 3 Now.
Thank you so much, Tahalil. Again, we're just learning this in real time. We just found out that, again, this is now being ruled a homicide, and make sure to follow all the developments on Channel 3000's news app. It's free and available in the App Store. Well, coming up at 10, we'll have another live report on tonight's shooting in Beloit that's now ending in a homicide. Plus, right now, everyone needs a blanket. Find out where you can help out tomorrow. And dozens of kids try their hand at a Madison tradition. We're going to take you to the lake, to the ice at Lake Monona next.
The coldest January in 35 years.
Employees need to be paid and property taxes are due.
That's why Crazy Lenny is selling e-bikes at cost.
Free storage till April. Warranty starts at pickup.
The coldest January in 35 years. You'll never pay less for an e-bike.
Crazy Lenny's e-bikes. Water is one of nature's most beautiful and life-sustaining resources. At no fault of their own, many Wisconsin utility customers are facing a shutoff to their water service. This leaves them without the one life-giving resource we all take for granted. And those hardest hit are on fixed incomes, juggling multiple temporary jobs, or those who lost full-time jobs in sectors hardest hit by the pandemic. If someone you care about needs a hand up, your local Wisconsin energy and emergency rental assistance providers are working together to keep you safely in your home and your water, heat, and power on. If you are in danger of losing your water service, call 833-H2O-WISC, 833-426-9472. You may not ask for it, but we're here to help.
Some traditions just keep getting better and better. Ford F-Series, the official truck of the NFL and America's best-selling trucks 44 years and counting. Now get a built Ford Tough F-150 with 0.9% financing for 60 months, plus $1,000 bonus cash. Only at your local Wisconsin and UP Ford dealers.
Your senator is working with Donald Trump to take away your right to vote.
That's exactly what Ron Johnson is doing. It's why we must pass the Freedom to Vote Act.
With the Bucks, Alex Lasry took a stand.
Alex Lasry has used his power to expand voting rights.
I'll be a senator about action, not talk. We need to protect voting rights.
What makes him tick is his love and respect for people.
Equity and justice make us stronger. Alex gets it done.
I'm Alex Lasry, and I approve this message.
Wow, the coldest January in 35 years.
Employees need to be paid and property taxes are due.
That's why Crazy Lenny is selling e-bikes at cost.
Free storage till April. Warranty starts at pickup.
The coldest January in 35 years, you'll never pay less for an e-bike.
Crazy Lenny's e-bikes.
Coming up on Sunday, we'll discuss federal mask distribution in Wisconsin.
And we are looking for our forecast to stay pretty consistent, but changes are coming. We'll take a look at this Sunday morning at 6:30.
You're watching News 3 Now at 10. Winner of the National Edward R. Murrow Award for Overall Excellence in Television.
There's a new multimillionaire in California. Someone in Woodland Hills won an estimated $426 million before taxes after matching all the numbers in last night's Mega Millions drawing. The winner can take $293 million with the lump sum cash option. The jackpot had been growing since the last big prize was won back in October. Bringing all the joy of the Scholastic Book Fair to the nostalgic Madison crowd, the Sylvie's Grown-Up Book Fair delivered a variety of throwback favorites. Today's event showcased a handful of independent bookstores in our area. They all had a special selection of books for visitors to check out and take home. Some booksellers say they're just still struggling to rebound and stay in business right now.
I think this is a really great opportunity to see what an incredible range of bookstores, independent bookstores that we have in Madison, and really hoping that people take advantage of those bookstores before they think about buying things at big box stores.
A portion of today's proceeds from the event will benefit the Madison Public Library Foundation. A local nonprofit is hoping that you'll help them and those in need get through the cold winter nights like tonight. Christina Laurie has more on what you can do tomorrow.
On cold winter weekends, we sometimes forget how lucky we are to have a home, heat.
Bedding and blankets are important, one, because we all sleep.
And something as simple as blankets and sheets. Throughout the year, thousands of families across Dane County contact St. Vincent de Paul for a variety of needs.
And one of those items is bedding.
And one weekend a year, the nonprofit holds its Recycle the Warmth blanket drive to restock. Through Sunday, you can donate new and gently used blankets at 7 St. Vinny thrift stores across the county. You can also buy blankets at those stores and donate them back.
Just last year, we gave supplies to more than 1,000 families and individuals.
Nearly $80,000 worth of bedding, plus air beds and portable cribs.
And that's not including our food pantry, our charitable pharmacy.
From its free prescription program to housing programs for families leaving homelessness, St. Vinny's volunteers spend all year making sure those in need have their basic needs.
But this weekend, it's all about the blankets.
The most basic of all, a comfortable night's sleep. In Madison, Christina Laurie, News 3 Now.
If you're not able to drop off blankets this weekend but would still like to help, you can donate to St. Vinny's online. News 3 Now is a proud co-sponsor of the drive, which is now in its 30th year. Dozens of kids got a chance to go ice fishing today on Lake Monona. The Yahara Fishing Club hosted its annual event for children ages 14 and under. The first 300 kids received a free ice fishing rod and reel and got a chance to check them out.
We work on a variety of projects to help with conservation of the lakes and water.
Cuba City head coach Jerry Pettigrew looking for history right in the eye. One win away from becoming the first Wisconsin head coach with 1,000 wins. But Carmen made it tough early on. This bomb from Corey Tribune gives the Eagles a 1-point lead. Then the Cubans flip the switch. Carter Olson says, not today. Making moves on one end of the court, then on the other, attacks the rim and converts on the tough finish. Gives CC a 15-point lead, and they never look back. They win 91-69 to seal coach's 1,000th win, etching his name into Cuba City and Wisconsin sports history.
It's easy to quit, it's easy to quit, but persevere. I think that's the key. So I don't think that you get caught up in the, hey, it's my way or the highway. We're in this together, and let's see if we can persevere, and let's have some fun along the line, too.
We'll be right back.
Pick and Save delivery is always fresh because we check our produce at every stop on its journey to you. We're fresh every day, so shop anyway. Pick and Save, fresh for everyone.
Those brave men and women of our armed forces, generations of them. Why should today's burdens fall back onto them? They were there for us. Now let's be there for them. Your local Wisconsin energy providers and the Keep Wisconsin Warm Cool Fund are working together to deliver Wisconsin veterans in crisis heat, power, and help staying in their home. But they can't do it alone. Call to donate today.
At Affordable Dentures and Implants, that moment when we see a patient smile is everything to us. So whether it's a single tooth, full dentures, or dental implants, we're here to help you. Go ahead and smile.
Go ahead and smile. Go ahead and smile. Go ahead and smile.
I was a Navy submariner for over 20 years. I spent a large portion of my life underwater. Service is about putting your country before yourself. But Senator Ron Johnson uses his office to serve himself. Ron Johnson passed a special tax break that benefited his family's business, then cashed out of the company for $5 million. Ron Johnson has doubled his wealth since he's been elected. That's not what service is about. Tell Ron Johnson to stop voting for tax laws that benefit himself.
Dear Winter, I'm coming. My squad of 16 vehicles with all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive is ready to take you on. Safety's the name of my game. So you better bundle up. Toyota.
Right now, you can get 2.49% APR for 60 months on Toyota's most popular 2022 models. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
News 3 Now's Call for Action team advocates for you. Getting through when you can't.
We hear comments like, oh, thank you for listening. Nobody cared.
Asking the right questions.
Your customers are so frustrated. You hope to make that right.
And getting results.
They sent a water heater the next day after you told me you made the call.
When you're getting nowhere, we have the team and the resources to get answers. Call for Action, only on News 3 Now. We're taking action for you.
At Pick and Save, you can get personalized coupons on top of weekly sales for prices that are lower than low on food that's fresher than fresh. Pick and Save, fresh for everyone.
Channel 3000 Plus. Watch from your streaming media player or mobile device. You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
Okay, finally tonight, we wanted to take a chance to celebrate one of our own. Diane Marks is retiring tonight after 38 years at Channel 3. Diane works in our operations department in master control. And just want to say from all of us, Diane, thank you so much for everything and a great 38 years. She's one of the many people here behind the scenes that makes this all possible. Thanks, Diane. Austin? How's our weather looking, man?
You know, I gotta say also, Diane does a great job back there. We really wouldn't be able to put on our shows without any of the people that work behind the scenes here. So quick shout out right there. Diane, you've done great work, and I'm excited to hear what you do afterwards. And tonight, 12 degrees for that low. It's gonna be pretty cold, but very similar to what we saw last night. Now that extended forecast shows a few dry days ahead of us and even mild conditions. I'm really gonna enjoy these next few days personally before that next cool down hits, and we're still tracking that potential to see some snowfall on Wednesday and Thursday, but that chance is continually dropping with almost every new model that comes out. We could still see that storm shifting back up to the north and bringing us some snowfall, but for right now that chance is not looking too good, but we are going to see those temperatures really cooling back down quickly after.
All right, Austin, thank you so much, and thanks so much for joining us. Good night, everyone.